Mobby. I don't know what happened here. Alright, I want to get to it. Come on. Come on. I want to get back to it.
Welcome to Ariel, where luxury meets
Bro,
functionality.
I hate ads, bro.
We provide
Like,
bathroom vanities, countertops and sinks, mirrors and bathtubs.
Let me get a hot coin.
We offer free delivery, easy returns, and satisfaction guarantee.
No, man.
Vanity
I'm
clothings come
all
with
I'm gonna
solid
say,
wood
bro.
materials, dovetail, soft
There's a
closing,
reason
and
why I
ample
belong in
storage
flat.
space.
Visit today at
Now
Ariel
look
Store.
at that, Jeffel, and I would have never thought of that in a
It was
million years.
Duep, I think it's just shone
Oh, just in
massively
time.
here, and I think the Vanguards are definitely the ones
Just
that are
in
just
time.
trying to quite literally mitigate a lot of that damage that's coming through when you have all of this duelists
Mobby.
pretty much either holding W or holding a controller down, because you have got two controller players in with Skittles on the back line of Chopper Mag and Enzo in the front line of Citadel. Citadel went onto this map against OUG almost with a little bit of hubris, right? They'd already qualified, they banned out the Iron Fist up against Molan Ran of OUG and decided to play it themselves, and it sort of bit them in the backside, so to speak. It's how we ended up on Heart of Heaven in that series.
Wait.
Here, it shows that it wasn't just a
Does
bit
that
of
has
a
Reese?
diff play.
What?
Tanuki's on the Iron Fist
I
first
did
as they
not-
go on this attacking side. A 2-2-2 setup with Polly on the fall for a second, but now he's back on the groove.
They looked at it, they decided that, you know what, this seems like a pretty good idea, let's try it. They move out on the Iron Fist for just a second, see how their opponents are set up with the
Tanuki's on
defense, and immediately swap
Storm.
over to the Storm, knowing that it would be too risky to push into the setup with Bobo on that Adam Warlock for the defense, so they're just going for overwhelming firepower with the Goddess boost from the Storm onto that Punisher to just melt through those group walls. But we are seeing the group wall up here as both are just trying to trap the other out of line of sight of their strategists.
You're looking for those fights. Seeing Tanuki on Storm brings us back to the Invitational, I think, when it was OG that was representing some of these players beforehand. But Tanuki now finding a couple more picks. They got the B-Rep bringing people into the fray yet again, but it seems that there is a player disadvantage more on the side for Chopper Mag. It is going to be the ammo
Yo,
player used on
whoa,
both sides to try and up that damage.
wait a
Up
minute,
that,
wait a minute, wait a minute,
sustain
wait a
to
minute,
keep
wait a
going,
minute.
but it's not going to be enough. Chopper Mag.
Paulie just got his ult first before his Zen Starry. And he's already halfway through again, getting that ult. Like, we might see another ult, and Zen Starry is going to be on, like, maybe 25%, give or take. Maybe 25-30%. Oh, they're getting melted.
To try and blow up Belly.
Oh, they're getting melted.
Defense, but Zenstory do have it all down. Battery Buff Figure brings them back. Here comes Bobo. Ooh, for the revive, but it's taken out mid-air. Beautiful.
Yo, Malio, you nasty, beautiful Punisher.
And it is thoroughly ignored.
It is
That was
very
nasty.
clean in the end from Citadel Gaming.
He
Even
just
with the
denied
camera
that
and
revive.
amounted to very little.
That Carmack
Gonna see if
revive.
Bobo's going to switch off of the Adam Warlock, or if they want to stay onto this conversation. It is a couple of changes, more lateral, right? You've got the Angela now in play, and the Daredevil Starlord for more of this fast play, the Zootopia backline of the Jeff Rocket Raccoon to play hard and fast into Citadel.
Going for the brawl style, that Starlord's going to be able to duel Tanuki in the sky a little bit better in vulnerability frames on the rolls, and of course that bonus help when you do so as well makes you
Damn.
to be taken out in an air-to-air duel. Duet's going to be picked up by Melio, who's so good with this shotgun for the Punisher, but dealing with backliners. I have Agamotto into the air to take out Zen Starry. Enzo, ignoring the ground, is seeing the sky.
It's just
You know
even
what?
X onto one, the fact that the rest of Citadel Gaming were ready to jump on top. You've got the Strangler Prison used in an alcove more than anything to clear out somebody's spots, but they get the picks, they get the space. It's not going to matter all too much. You've even got Tanuki still over on the Storm. He has the Omega Hurricane. He could just bank on it. He's so
Yo,
back
I
ready
am
to get
learning.
towards this second checkpoint.
I'm
and then
learning.
Chopper
I'm
Mag
learning.
have to respect it. You do have the
I don't know if my
gamer's
gamer's good.
but you're still losing out on players. Melio's gone down in the process, and the Yarn Amplifier is going to make this a very heavy storm from Tanuki.
But it's not enough. They tank on through. We're seeing Chopper back. The Devil has been unleashed for the counterplay as their time got to the backline, but taken down. And once again, Citadel losing individual members, but seem to be holding the fight for the Battle Rebirth Beacon will bring Ethic back into it, meaning numbers currently in favor of Chopper Mag. Good positioning there by Alex. Drops the Battle Rebirth Beacon, which will bring back Tanuki in this fight. Not so lucky for Bobo, who will go down. Melio was picked off again. Ethic is just always on the flank.
He's always in these fights. Amelio, he's gone down a couple of times now, still wants to try and build up that final judgment as a way to sort of clear this objective. The Omega Hurricane not getting too much for Tanuki. Yarn Amplify upping that damage, seeing if they can get Enzo online potentially with this Eye of Agamotto at the same time. There comes Melio.
That
just leading into the
rollout.
fray. So close to having his ultimate. The Chopper Mag don't really have much to sit back on and
Oh, I
support,
think he's gonna
especially
ult.
when Skittles was taken down just
Never
moments
mind.
ago. Galactic Legend and the Freedom Charge.
Oh, he
ready
did.
to fight on the Soul Resurgence final judgment combination from Ken and Melio, but it's not enough to keep Zenstari going. It's not enough to keep him alive. He's going to be brought back from the Bureau back, but Alex is finding the picks now.
Holding it together, Eye of Agamotto going to be blocked out by the barrier of the Sephiroth. It's not enough to keep Tanuki up, but Enzo holding the fight has their own Eye of Agamotto to look for the turnaround right from above the point to remove the defenders as Fidel is going to be walled off for the one last chance at the defense, and point two goes
I
to
am in.
Citadel.
I am loving their Citadel.
Was so fast from Citadel.
I'm telling you,
They still have a lot more
Citadel,
time to sit back on
they
here.
gotta really
But
go
now
to
for Chopper Mag,
Strange.
They have some ultimates at least to sit back with, but they want to try and contest this space that already Citadel has taken. Look how far forward they've tried to push to make sure that Chopper Mag cannot get comfortable and set up on this defense.
Creating an opening to make sure that Chopper Mag, like you say, can't find a position to give themselves any kind of anger, any kind of bunker. The wraparounds coming in, you can see Perfect and Zenstory continuously on the flag. Cosmic Yard Amplifier going to be coming out as Citadel have pulled the trigger, but Melio is going to be the first to fall in this fight, meaning that this is more of a sustained ultimate than anything. Citadel not coming into this fight, just trying to deal with these flankers, chasing down the shark that's in their backline. Is Jeff used to get away? Omega Hurricane to potentially chase it on the retreat and take down
Where
the
is it?
backline. They just can't find anything, so another defensive ultimate used.
Not the Sharknado combination when it's on the other side, but Tanuki knows how this character plays. He's played it so often himself, but wants to go for something a little bit more offensive.
Chopper Mag.
Him and Melio are pretty much down on low HP. Melio even goes down. If it wasn't for the Bira back, that is just finding so much value from the rockets that are in play here.
Yo, that's
Do
a
have
feels
invincible
bad.
to sit back on.
That's
Even
a feels
Galactic
bad
Legend
moment.
for
Oh my
Bobo.
god.
There's
Hold
not
on.
going to be too much to sit
As I was trying to say, that's a feels bad moment. I saw what he was trying to do. He was trying to zipline his way right into that fight, but that building was just like reconstruction.
This moment is going to try and find the angle, has to fire hose of Skittles
Oh,
to keep the
no
stats up,
pick.
playing quite high in
No
the air,
pick.
utilizing the high buildings themselves for a little bit of cover as Dueb's going to be chased down as they're completely separated. Cosmic Guard Amplifier straggling Prison onto the backline to chase them all the way to spawn. Freedom Charge going to be coming out for a little bit of extra sustain with the Soul Resurgence, but Melio damage boosted onto the point with Goddess boost, and the Allied Inspire is trying to remove all the defenders, but it's a huge delay coming in from Zenstory, buying so much time for the revives. Meteor Ram to try and take him down, finds nothing.
Damn.
Skittles is down, Zenstory is down, and we are heading all the way to Avengers Tower here for Citadel.
Midtown
Bro,
is
that's
always a
str-
cinematic masterpiece for Citadel. Whether it's win or loss, they love to give us a
Man, that's strange. I'm telling you, that's strange. Just like he said, you know what? F this. Let's go try hard mode. And they still got another fight here going on.
staying on a composition that usually play for the first part of that map with the Punisher and the
Oh,
Storm.
wow.
Really, this
He
combination is
said,
so different
"You
from
ain't
what
touching that
Chopper's trying
point.
to do. We keep
Mantis,
going,
you
but
ain't
always
allowed to
stick
touch
with
that.
Prison through the
You ain't
individual
allowed to
boundaries, pull
heal.
everybody out of it. It just sets up that combination of the Mantis, the Punisher, those two ultimates, the damage and speed boost put onto a freight train. There's nothing that Chopper Man could do to hold on from that.
What a performance so far by
We
Citadel.
still-
Both teams currently hovering an Iron Fist. Citadel looking to go a little bit more aggressive on the
Yo,
defense.
they started on
Double
Psylocke.
dive potential here, whereas we're
I
seeing
think.
Chopper Mac look for
No,
the
Enzio
Iron
started on
Fist.
Venom.
They're also
Might
looking
be.
at that Storm once again, which is almost exactly the composition that
I'm
we saw Citadel
blind.
roll out, but here's the key difference. We didn't see the Jeff banned out against Chopper Mag, meaning that they can just rip Citadel's strategy right off and go for Jeff Nader pushes themselves.
Oh.
It does feel that Chopper Mag take a lot of what Citadel have been good at, not only in this stage at this event, the entire year. But looking at the potential head-to-head of
Yo.
Iron Fist, Molan Ran
Wait,
is
I'm done.
crying in his hotel room right now, going,
Whoops.
this should have been me. Actually getting to go into an Iron Fist head-to-head. It's
This is the
probably
current
not what we
match,
expected too much of the grand finals, but here we are, Chopper Mag having to finish out the map at the very least to keep us even in this best-of-3 series.
Going for the group balls on the wraparound, Tanuki taking a little bit of damage. Mostly it's been Melio who's been focused this game, so Tanuki's going to have a little bit more freedom with this mobility. Just trying to put some
Oh.
pressure on. And Alex just all the way in the back line, just making sure the team is topped up. Sends the Battle Rebirth Beacon just around the corner, see if they can catch anyone who's picked up Enzo into the back line and catching
That
Skittles
was-
right outside the spawn door.
Oh, they pretty much took him all the way in.
Receipt.
Oh, if Enzo got pulled into the enemy spawn, he would have been instantly deleted. But the Vera backs are going to, again, come to fruition.
Enzo.
Both teams really making use out of Rocket Raccoon. Not only for the Vera back, but just how mobile these strategists are. It's why the Iron Fist and the Psylocke are in play, just to chase, make sure that these rodents don't get too much done in the backline, keeping their teams alive.
Then Story moving over to the Angela, looking to just try and put some pressure, see if they can continue the very dive-heavy strategy that Chopper Bag have been leading on to. They've abandoned their own Iron Fist, and Pethic will be moving over to the Daredevil. Bobo back on the Star-Lord. Tanuki, on the other hand, is still continuing to duel this, and that is one of the few characters that can actually keep up with Angela thanks to the lock-on. They could chase them quite well, and in fact, we're starting to see that. Zenstory gets brawled, comes on down for the Icarus Axis for that bonus, helps with the Blaster Barrage from Bobo.
He's close. He's almost got that
He's-
Galactic Legend to go.
I think he might.
And it's just after the Soul Resurgence was used on the other side from Ken, so he's trying to go high
Yeah.
into the air, see if he can get a good vantage point. But you can see how all of Citadel Gaming are just trading out this damage, but not
Worth
enough.
it.
Melio and Ken go down to the back of Bobo. He's seeing if he can now get the other strategist that's in this setup, and the barrage in combination with Duep is going to be enough. It's keeping things movement, but at a very slow, steady pace. Citadel Gaming are down in numbers, but you can see one at a time, touching the point, stalling it, wasting as many seconds as they can.
Now Citadel, they can try and come back in for a reinforcement here at Freedom Charge. They're going to just rush on in with the speed boost to make sure that they can rush onto that point of delay as long as possible. Polly all the way from spawn to give their team a path, but Heaven's Descent in the doorway. That will slow them down and give so much distance over to Chopper Bag.
What?
It brings in Enzo. Well,
That
a
is-
gift for the team, but Fidel's going to be the first to fall. The Cosmic Guard Amplifier from Citadel giving them the damage output. The push onto the point, Melio pulling in for the dance of the butterflies to try and take out the attackers. Then Story and Bobo are both eliminated.
Oh, but Pethic, the one-sided Daredevil, is trying to claw back a redemption at the man without fear on Halloween, is finding himself the Fists of Polly, which tends to shut down a lot of duelists nowadays, but it does mean the Citadel Gaming are stalling this out. It's just an absolute brawl in the streets of New York. Midtown is really giving it for both of these sides, but Chopper Mag only have a minute left to push to this first checkpoint.
Enzo is down, meaning they lose a lot of that point delay. Reinforcement coming on in. Duop's going to try and rush to buy a little bit of extra time to zone out the backline. Living Chi from the Iron Fist is trying to chase them down, but Ken is already going to be removed, removing a lot of healing out from Citadel and that damage boost. Immediately Tanuki's just trying to brawl, but he goes down just completely outnumbered, but it bought time, meaning Polly could come back in, meaning Alex could come back in, because Enzo portals the team, but a reinforcement. They're burning through so much time of Chopper Bag.
my
Chopper Bag will
God.
likely take this fight, especially with that Galactic Legend.
Ooh, great pick.
Eating through that clock.
You're getting Alex just as he tried to hide behind covers, and Starry catching out
Yo.
Melio, the pole play. He's even going to dive through it. He's not afraid to take this fight right to the doors of where Citadel was setting up on this defense.
Oh, the teleport.
He's
Bro,
able to
I'm-
sneak all the way back. It's a great play.
I'm
from
telling
Fast
you,
as we
bro.
hit the first checkpoint.
I'm telling
That
you,
might be
man.
a
That
block. Some of the
Rocket
players from
team
Citadel
with
will have to try and
Star-Lord.
reset 'em back out because
I
Chopper
said
Bag
it.
were hungry for a
Oh my
few
god,
more
I'm not
picks.
sure.
I thought Perfect was Blake Daredevil.
But
Like you said, Bobo
I had to
the man
restart
without
the
fear,
stream.
but you don't
But
even
I said it
have
earlier.
a rocket network
Rocket,
teleport back
Star-Lord
to the
team up.
objective that
Really,
Astro
really
just
good.
to
You can
return
dive
to a
in.
safe
If you see you're
location
gonna,
after you've dived onto
you
the
know
objective.
you're gonna
Perfect
like
right now looking
die
for
if you
high
go
ground.
in
Fans
too
eyes
deep.
on Melio
You
to try and
preemptively
remove them from
go
the
back
wall. With the damage out,
with
the
that
chase is
C.
good. The Devil has been
That
unleashed,
team
but
up.
get knocked back off the point for the first fight. The
You
Heaven
put it
is
where you
buying
want.
a lot of time, but that Cosmic Guard Amplifier is keeping Citadel in it with the Freedom Charge, doubling up on that bonus health, means they will sustain through.
His Perfect is just finding these hands from all the members of Citadel Gaming, and now
Oh,
the
oh,
dance of the
oh.
butterflies instantly shut down from Bobo.
No.
Melio's not going to have a chance to use it. Polly manages to catch on to Skittles, and the Freedom Charge is going to be used from Duep to keep stalling things out, to keep this fight going. Citadel Gaming down 2 players, but a 4 versus 6, 3 versus 6. They're still able to sort of buy some time, and adjustments come in to now go for the Adam Warlock to try and go for camera revivals and stall stuff out. This is a place where the payload often gets stuck. Chopper Mag might have their trickiest challenge, their trickiest fight coming up.
Citadel are bringing now the Adam Warlock for that extra defense. They don't have Portal available, so Soulbond becomes the next highest priority because they already have that Battle Rebirth Beacon. So every bit of sustain that they can use to hold this fight will be incredibly useful, as Enzo has access to that Meteor M for that last second defense. Skittle not having that. It's Jeff for any more time. It's going to be quite a while away. Enzo gets stunned down. The first to fall, removing the battle rebirth beacon. Invisible boundary, sniped out of the air, taken down. As the dive from Tanuki is going to remove Fidel, moving that battle rebirth beacon on their own side, but it's too late. Bobo is already back. Zenstory is removed, and Citadel repelled.
Just the hands are like bullets blocking some of the damage. Bobo tries to sort of set the standard, right? Able to get a pick, goes for the Galactic Legend. Enzo blocking the majority of damage with the Meteor M, taking some of that bullets to make that big old ball strong and straight into the forehead of Bobo. He's going to feel that one in the morning, but he might also be playing for his elimination a little bit later on. Tanuki now not willing to give up these fights. If it's going on, it means that there's still a fighting chance for Citadel Gaming to keep this held back and to keep buying time.
Pethic holding the line, at least for the moment. Polly with the freedom charge. Heavens to send up to the point, but immediately going to be bumped back off the point. Forced to take to the sky. Cosmic Yard up on fire for Alex. For the sustain. We're so close to a karmic revival. Means they just have to keep Melio up. A beautiful charge onto Polly, but they're just too far, too mobile. Battle Rebirth Beacon brings back Ken into the fight as Skittles is on the flank, making sure everyone is topped up, but the dive might be too much. Bobo is down, as is Zenstory. It's Jeff onto the point.
Damn.
Chopper Mag
Chopper
unable to
Mag.
go further on to match finishing the map for Citadel Gaming.
Damn.
And they don't do things by halves, they do things by three. Citadel Gaming able to move up in the winners bracket, but much like every single game for them at the Grand Finals event here in Atlanta, it's long, it's labored, and it takes every single map that they have the advantage to.
The point was clear. The It's Jeff an attempt to reach. I'm flabbergasted. They tried to It's Jeff onto the point just to touch for a little bit longer, but they just were caught short. Citadel Gaming continuing their run through the upper bracket, heading up to those semi-finals, but Chopper Mag sure made them work for it.
It was a potential nightmare scenario for Citadel Gaming, but they get that scary team of Chopper Mag out of the way for the time being. Always a chance that they could rematch them later on in the tournament. But for Chopper Mag, you've got a best of 5 break, and then you're playing a little bit later up against Dark Zero, which, you did see these two teams play in their respective groups, right? And I think in the end it went to Dark Zero, that one. So it's, with a full best of 5, feels like we could see a few more maps trade either side in that case.
Dark Zero also put a pretty solid performance in their own matchup, taking a first round, not first map, but first round off of FlyQuest. They are not to be underestimated either. None of these teams have an easy pathway, but Citadel have at least made it so they have to play a few less matches.
For Citadel, it's making sure that their name is amongst like the top 4, top 3. They want to win this event. They felt that they were in pole position to go in for the mid-season finals, and it was their own individual performances that let them down in Guangzhou.
They fought hard.
Even their series against Na'Vi, they said it was on us. 100 Thieves, we struggled with the draft, we made those adaptations. In an interview with Audible, in that case with Na'Vi,
Like,
it was just a case of
Citadel fought hard, but Chopper Mag just like they just dominated. Like straight up. Oh my god, not this again. You cannot understand. Now we have a. Yo, wait, what's this little? I thought Chopper won that. Am I tripping? I think I'm tripping. Wait, who won? I thought it was Chopper.
Constantly fighting in this kind of environment.
Hold
when
on.
It's going to get warmer and warmer here in DreamHack Atlanta with more bodies coming in over the weekend. That pace of play, only some teams could keep up. You can say
Citadel
Citadel,
won.
you can definitely say Citadel.
And what a performance we just had.
Yo, I got them confused, but still.
As we head over to the main stage and Cozy.
What's going on, guys? We come back from that electric matchup, and I'm joined by the Vanguard GOAT in Pauly. And listen, sometimes the cook, man, it's a slow burn. You guys, you've been dropping a map, going into it, and then just coming out looking ready and fresh, man. Talk to me about a little bit of that mentality here for the group stage to now.
I mean, we're kind of just a mentality team. We're just the mentality goats, you know?
Oh, Polly, right. Oh my god, I'm
down eventually we just find a way to build back up. And
Yeah,
that's
Citadel.
kind of what we do, you know? We never back down.
Hey, I love that. Oh, listen, the viewers, the dads, the cast, we haven't seen a lot of Heart of Heaven, right? That's a map we have not seen a lot so far. What made y'all pick that map out of all of the pools whenever you wanted to come back and try to get a game back into this thing?
I mean, the first plan on the new map was to play Angela with kind of a poke comp, but then they eventually banned it. But then they just left everything for us open, you know? We first tried to dive, didn't eventually work, and then we ended up on like a Groot, Adam, like poke comp, like front and back comp, and then we just fully stopped their dive.
So, man,
Okay.
he is known as Steve Paulie Rogers. This is the Captain America himself. I gotta ask, I was impressed with Duep and what they were able to do on the Vanguard side. Do you feel like the Vanguards on the side of Chopper Mag, you know, were able to hold up pretty well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
They
This team is a dive team. Like,
they know how to
they're
dive.
really, really, really good. So we had to like step back, pray like more front to backy, and then yeah, we just locked in.
And Cinderella story in the making, able to make your own story as well. You know, last I want to say with y'all, you have Sala, you have your team, you know, so locked in. You're bringing in what y'all put together now with Melio as well, man. FlyQuest is next. You got a big one coming up, you know, and you all played them, you know, so far. What do you need to do ensure to
What
win
is this
and to
hawk?
get up into the next set of the finals?
I think we just need to play our
Bruh.
own game. We just need to do whatever we feel like, do whatever we feel like is more comfortable, and just have fun. Need to have fun.
That's what I want to see. You guys are
Fun.
serious on the cams. That's what I love, man. And hey, listen, take it all in, man. We got Atlanta, Georgia. We got a ton of viewers at home. And listen, I'm going to give you the floor one more time. Any last words that you want to tell the fans out there?
Captain Paulie, at your service.
Captain Paulie at your service. Well, that was definitely a good way to wrap up the upper bracket, but we still have 2 more matches left as we find ourselves best of 5 down, teams facing elimination. Not today for you, Paulie, but for 2 more teams as we're going to go to a quick break and then we get back to the action.
Action.
I hope you guys are ready, because we are. Which ones have what it takes to become the best of the best?
3 minutes. Oh, now we're in the losers round. Now it's 100 Thieves versus, oh my god, I forgot their name. Rejects. I feel like 100 Thieves might win. I love that Iron Man skin. Oh, that Jeff skin, bro. I love the fact that he wags his shark tail. Man. I feel like they should have made him when he sinks down, you know, when he swims in the ground. I feel like they should have made him every time he goes like dun 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 dun. It would have been like Halloween themed. Man, I wish I was good with Spidey. I'm just slow. Now they're gonna show Iron Man, I think. They're gonna show Iron Man. Alright. RC rejects. Oh, now oh my god, I forgot their name already. These are, I don't even know. They're facing Chopper Mag. Oh. I can't believe I missed the VP versus 100 Thieves.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Iron Chib here today with 100 Thieves. Tara, Delena, TTK, how are you guys doing today?
TTK!
I think we're all good. All exhausted from flying now.
All right, so Rivals, a very synergy-based game, a team-based game, I would argue, out of all hero shooters. It's really about constant team plays. Can you guys give me a walkthrough of kind of how shot calling works, how alt tracking works with you guys? I've been curious. We talked a bit about it, but if you could break that down for me, I'm curious what it looks like.
At least alt tracking, I'm trying to get better at it, but it's usually like everyone just trying to get it down.
The thing with Marvel is that like you can get ults so fast in this game, like 30 seconds ults like that, so it's gonna be hard to track like consistently in that, because like it's an ultimate game.
Sure.
Which is like really like hard to like ult track consistently. Sometimes we'll make a call and then sometimes something will go wrong, or like we'll mistrack something because I mean you don't expect the person to get another ult within 30 seconds.
Especially at this high level play, man.
What is it, just raw damage and healing?
Like that aim, like
just like we're guessing. I mean,
locking
we
it.
don't mistrack a lot.
Yeah, it depends on how the fight goes.
Sure. My question to you, just from a duelist standpoint, it's cool that we're going to have kind of, well, at least last season, more strategists, but still a duelist as well. What are your thoughts as to when you pick up different heroes? Because you got a pretty vast hero pool.
I think you should know how to play a pretty good marginal characters. I mean, I know how to play like almost every character in the game, Strategist and Vanguard. Only characters I don't really know how to play are like Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Venom, like the movement characters like that. But
yeah,
like,
bro,
I don't think those characters are ever gonna be meta, and like someone else will play those, and I don't ever think like Triple
Spider-Man,
Dive can be meta like that.
Sure.
Then at that point, I mean, we already have someone that's already good for that, so we can just play a different character. But it's always good to just have a very wide hero pool, because you can end up like a lot of teams that could just have one player banned out.
Such a successful team. What do you think? What's the strength? Why is that? Why are you guys so successful?
The hidden fact is everyone thinks we're friends.
Which ones have what it takes to become the best of the best?
They just, nah, bro, this is disrespectful. This is disrespectful.
Hello guys, this is 100 Thieves Marvel Rivals, and we'll see you at DreamHack Atlanta.
Guys, and welcome back to the desk. Once again, I am your host, Cozy, and I've got the whole crew here. We've got Ryan, and of course, my usual co-caster. We can welcome her now officially to the production, and Vicky. First of all, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, Cozy. I mean, do you see this? Do you see where we are for the Marvel Rivals Ignite Grand Finals? I'm having a great time. I've been watching you guys absolutely kill it on the mic. It's been fantastic to see how everything's played out so far.
They should have
awesome
put me on the mic. I'd be like,
hey,
hey,
look.
look.
Came off the mic, man. How was that?
Hey, man. Ooh, that little
interval training, I'm pretty
that's
sure.
little
So, like,
ulti.
maybe that's
Oh my god, he just got 2 picks off that, bro. 2 crits. Oh my god, this match is. Bro, what is going on? What is going on? Bro. They really did that. That's gay. This match is a replay match today. Yeah, this set 3 matches. I'm gonna look real quick on Marvel Rivals. See what happened to them. They're live. There's an ad. Oh my god. Let me go back. Hold on. No, wait, group stage. Oh, whoa. This is not it. that's not it. Let's go home.
Style with a...
That's why. Bro! Marvel Rivals. Fix your BDB bot. Alright, this is the loser's bracket. The lower bracket. I think 100 Thieves might come out winning here. Bro, they haven't had money. Morty for TV.
But outside of that, we focus on the other side. Be sure again to grab that, available October 31st. As you know, Halloween, it's ready to go. But we have a big matchup, folks. Big one to talk about. And let's go ahead and look at what it's going to take for Reject to get over 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves, it's like, it's almost sad they're down here, right? Because of how strong they are.
Which is crazy to say, Cozy. When you and I cover this team, this is always a team that I'm rooting behind because of how their performance has been throughout the course of Stage 2. Now we see them up here in LAN, and looking at the fact, you know, as Ryan mentioned, having a really rough start to their group stage. I believe they went 5 and 6. That was not something I was expecting. Now all pressure on 100 Thieves to avoid getting eliminated.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they went for the Hospital of Terror right now and get on the rebound a bit. We're starting to see that a lot more, like, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just you have to be able to pace yourself with events like this, but it even feels that, like, you've got 100 Thieves coming in as the top seed, and the general consensus from me across the Atlantic was almost undeserving of it, like whether it was the bracket, whether it was just a bad day for FlyQuest and stuff. It did feel like the general consensus from America's audience was they were good on the day, and that kind of merit needs to be required here now for 100 Thieves to sort of win this game. They don't need to worry about how they got into this situation, how much of a gauntlet this has been. It's about how they can do it as best of 5 and play from there.
All the 100 Thieves fans right now are just rioting on Ryan. They're like, come on now, we deserve to be at this spot. But you are right. I mean, absolutely. This was a team that they've been waiting to get to this moment. Again, if you missed out on the first matchup, pixels away from, I wouldn't even say the upset, from just going against VP and taking the win. Now find themselves up at the brink of elimination. We have to say goodbye to one of these teams right now, which is a shame. And honestly, Vicky, not a lot of notes on critiques because they're doing their game plan. You've got the Terror Show that has been the terrifying. We see all the time org teams say, can we just ban Terra? I know you can't ban the duelist. There's too many out there. Can we ban the myth himself? And we see it, continually.
Right? But that's another thing is that you have the flexibility. So what's going on wrong, right? And now we've exited out of the best of 3 territory into best of 5. So you have a lot more chances to actually rely on the pick and ban phase working out in your favor, but also having a much more higher opportunity, Ryan, to actually find yourself maybe figuring out what you need to do differently.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to like the pivots that 100 Thieves make, like they sort of start with a composition, it doesn't work well, so they switch to 2-2. Like we saw like the TTK Angela, we saw Vinny bring out the Thing against Virtus Pro earlier. They're really smart, clever, quick adjustments, but they're slow enough that teams like Virtus Pro can just almost put the nail in the coffin on a map, on a point, and that could be enough. So it's like 100 Thieves are big changes. Yeah. They just need to make them a little bit faster.
Especially with best of 3, right? There's just so little time. If you get the domination loss, I mean, it's just going to not be enough to get it. And this is the newness of 100 Thieves. I would say flexibility wouldn't be a compliment I would have given them even months ago. And now we're seeing what Vinny's able to do. We've talked about this so far, you know, going from the group main, the group himself, to being a menace in the back lines as Captain America, just making strategist life a living hell, even though it's not very Steve Rogers of him, if you will. And then, of course, Dylan and what he could do. But listen, 100 Thieves, we know them very well. I think Rejects is the more unknown team, if you will.
I feel like it's the opposite of like with me saying like 100 Thieves top seed but not feeling it just general off power rankings. Rejects are the opposite. They're the second seed that came through the Asia region because Crazy Raccoon were able to win in that grand final. But I think most people would say that Rejects are the stronger team out of the two, and it sort of lines up so far. Rejects are still here. Crazy Raccoon went out in groups. They were able to find some key players, and especially Finale as a duelist. He's been well known across like hero shooters full stop. There's been a lot of teams in interviews that said that they've played and endured with him. It feels like he is the thing that the glue that keeps this team together.
Yeah, because when we keep talking about other teams and having that flexibility, then Finale comes through with that Adam Warlock. We've seen him go over to the Namor. We've seen him over onto that Star-Lord. Obviously, Star-Lord still being very highly relevant in this current meta for all the right reasons. I mean, if you didn't just see what Bobo did, I mean, that also highlights what Rejects could provide here, Cozy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hey, I was there interviewing. We didn't get to see it, you know, because they did get eliminated. But OUG, I was talking to them about Finale in particular, and what do you think of this type of player? And they said one of the best players. So many people wanted to sign this guy. Now he finds himself on reject. So when you put that together with the talent already that they've continued to cook up, that's when you can get an upset brewing there, right?
Yeah, it felt like just even like EMEA teams knew of him because they'd either like played at previous events with him. I think Fate duoed with him and was like, yeah, this guy's pretty good. Like he gets my like certificate of recommendation just based off of that, which is nice to sort of know that somebody can fit into all sorts of different squads. And we are seeing a lot more people from different regions go over the Atlantic or the Pacific. Finale could be in NA, could be in America, like EMEA next year.
Hey, Bobo was a great representation of that, right? Yeah. Well, if you don't know Finale, all right, we have a little piece put together so you can get to know the player behind the skill. And let's go ahead and check out what Finale has to say.
Any thoughts on Finale?
Finale.
Some players walk into a tournament surrounded by hype. Finale isn't one of them. Ask around, most teams in the West haven't scrimped him and have maybe heard his name in passing.
Do we know I think he's on reject. Not a lot to comment on.
Yeah, not.
Only scrimmed him the one time.
But those who have, they remember.
From whenever we played them in mid-season finals in China, I think he performed very well.
首先觉得他就是准度十分的好，就是瞄准非常的 good， 然后他的走位也非常好，感觉是一个就是感觉世界非常顶级的坦克位选手。
In regional play, he's been a nightmare to deal with.
Playing against him was really terrifying in that grand final. His Phoenix was so insane.
That's the thing off the wall. Good stun. Oh my god, what a stun for Finale.
And now on the international stage, he's the wild card everyone is trying to figure out.
He stoned them from that. Bro. Yo, Finale.
Some say they don't even know what he plays.
I just don't even know what he plays.
I think Finale is an all-round player. One of those rare players that actually plays
that was quite a good way to know.
Or at least by the looks of it,
it was about as smooth as you get, right? Yeah, listen, I'm not the big shot Iron Man. I'm just trying to get my tea here. But listen, that was so cool because the more you learn about these players, it's my favorite part about LAN, Ryan and Vicky. I mean, you've been here, Vic. This is your first LAN for Rivals.
At least
How
from
has it
that
been learning the players and just like who's behind the controller or the mouse and keyboard?
I feel like it's the bridge between what the audience is looking at and then what the player has to display, right? You're talking about players that may, or facing off against players rather, that may not have that same experience as you, yet you're having a team like Reject coming into the frame, a completely different look, experienced veteran players within their own other respective games, and now you're gonna have land jitters, which is super normal, but then they feel like they're in their element.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna put y'all two on the spot right now. All right, I'm gonna start with Rive. Who's got it? Who's taking the home the win?
I think
I think it's going to depend a lot on what maps show up and just how well they've done this event. I think 100 Thieves just having home ground advantage. I think that's a major thing as well. Like how far Reject's about to travel to come here, go for the group stages, quick turnaround and stuff, and now be on the stage fighting for your life. 100 Thieves, I think as the event has gone on, they've got stronger because Terra has started to feel more 100%. That feels like it can go a long way, and they're working out what they need to do meta-wise, and 100 Thieves, looking strong as they go on.
Vicky?
I gotta say 100 Thieves. I gotta give it to 100 Thieves because when we enter a best of 5 territory, I think 100 Thieves literally just start powering up as the games progress, Cozy.
Yeah, listen, they've been harder than the tea that just fell on my lap. I mean, if you're looking at what they've been able to produce over and over, I think 100 Thieves has been heating up. And yeah, a little biased being American casters, but even if not, I think that this team has continued to put together the puzzle pieces that's needed. Find themselves, if they lose on Domination, going to Yggdrasil, that's been their main kind of calling card. Funny no, they win against VP on that map, and that was a big testament, right? VP is insane there.
I mean, for Yggdrasil, they lost on the first time ever, which bear in mind, they played as Team Cats in like alpha, beta tournaments, so you're thinking like 14 months, 15 months, like 2 weeks ago. That this was just a map, like one of the oldest in the game, right? I'm pretty sure it was the first map that I ever played when I played Marvel Rivals was Yggdrasil. Since then, Virtus Pro have been owning on that map, so 100 Thieves being able to get that result against them matters a lot.
We call it TTK's playground for a reason, yet what happened? It's almost like the monkey bars have been snipped from right below them, and you know, they're just falling to figure out where their footing is here, Cozy.
I have to ask, all right, because we're American casters, over to Rye. Terra's often regarded as the best duelist, quite literally, for the impact that he has. Is that the same thought process y'all have over there in EMEA? A lot of great players in this tournament. Sparker, obviously a legend. What do y'all think of Terra over there?
I think it is sort of similar, like Sparker seems to be the most common thing. I think I said it on a broadcast as well, where Terry in those instances where he's not playing strategist and triple strategist, yeah, you're not going to put LeBron in goal. It's the same with Sparker. Like, yeah, he could play stuff like the Adam Warlock as and when needed, or Ultron, but you want to put him on Psylocke, you want to put him on those duelists to get the eliminations, because that's what he's done for so long. I think the other side of it for me, for 100 Thieves, is Delana. That feels like the person that's been targeted a lot in draft. There's only so much that Terra can do, but when Delana has that freedom to play the characters that they want to play and go on from there, that's where it looks really scary.
When you have the 1A, you have the 1B, right? Patrick, we just saw that, what they were able to do when Bobo opened that up. This time it's Terra, it's Delana. Let's meet the players again for this matchup. Best of 5, one of these teams going home. Tetcher, take us away.
It's elimination time! As we are heading down to the lower bracket, it's time to send one of our teams home, and for one of these teams, their dreams will continue to be alive. But who will it be? There's only one way to find out, by meeting our teams. First, hailing from the Americas, it's 100 Thieves!
Sponsored by Lakers.
100 Thieves are the 3rd place from the mid-season finals, and the champions coming out of America. They come out of their group in 4th place and find themselves in the lower bracket. Will they be able to fight their way to continue this group, or will they be heading home? Give it up for 100 Thieves! And hailing from Asia, they fought their way through the group, one of the few teams to take maps of some of the best teams in the world, and now they find themselves here in the lower bracket, fighting for their lives. Please welcome Reject! Rejects were the champions coming out of mid-season finals and continue to fight their way back to these grand finals here in Atlanta. With Dobie, Izayaki, No Piggy, Marble Finale, and Gargoyle, they have some of the best talent in the world, and they are prepared to fight for their tournament lives. Please join me in welcoming Reject! The teams are ready, and everything is on the line. It comes down to this. One team will continue their journey, and one will be going home. The nerves cannot be overestimated here, because this is where everything matters. So please join me in sending it over to Got Moxie and That One Dad to bring you all of the action.
The triumphs of victory and the agonies of defeat, putting on a full display here as we navigate towards our first lower bracket of the grand finals. I'm That One Dan. Next to me is God Moxie, and we cannot wait to be your tour guides throughout this action.
Best of 5 as well. Instantly, the stakes are that much higher because it is going to be a lower bracket run. They already talked about it on the desk. They already talked about it on the hosting. Whoever goes out here, Dan, is out of the tournament for good, which means that pressure level just spiked up massively.
And that's the unknowns, right? Playing in a LAN kind of setting. This is not your typical comfort home setup. This is an arena. You are playing in front of an audience. And those kinds of unknowns, that stress, the pressure mounting on not just 100 Thieves, also on Reject. Will that affect their play, or will they be able to handle the pressure and come out as diamonds?
I mean, I just want to see the band draft immediately. I want to see the band draft.
That sounds about right for you.
I know, right? Moxie wants to see band draft. Who could have seen that coming? But I mean, that's the thing, right? Is it going to be a predictable band draft line, or are we going to be mixing up the script entirely? Because Finale has seen his hero pool massively hit by all of the teams that have gone against Reject recently. So too have 100 Thieves had to worry about Delena's hero pool being swept away. This is what we talked about on the desk, right? These two teams are very similar in the way of how they've been approached by their opponents in the drafting selection.
Yeah, both 100 Thieves and Reject they have their Terra, they have their Finale, but they also have their own backups. 100 Thieves, they've got Delena. He has been on a solid show here in the Grand Finals, whereas on the flip side for Reject, you've got Gargoyle. We tout him as one of, if not the best Bucky player in the entire world.
His hook connections, I think that's what impressed me the most about it. His hook connections against Psylocke players, where he's able to predict when they're looking for the ultimate or after they come out of the ultimate, is always going to be something to watch. And if TTK is able to get the Ember as well, look for those openings where they count down the duration of the Dance of the Butterflies to be able to catch the Psylocke as she comes out of that animation with a Carbon Crush as we head into our first draft format. And yeah, there we go. Mantis got away once for these two teams. It's not getting out again. 100 Thieves also going to be saving that Jeff, which means that there should be a ban onto the Venom from Rejects. And before we head into... Ooh!
Psylocke.
Okay, another Venom ban. Psylocke is getting removed, which means that Emma's power level drops. Not just that, if you want to run a flyer composition, you don't have to worry about the Psylocke keeping a track of that.
And speaking of flyers, look at the map we're in. We're at the Hellfire Gala yet again. We're on Krakoa, a map known to be very, very open. A lot of open space, a lot of open air for these flyers to take the space that they need to. But obviously, we're in season 4.5 where Human Torch got a little bit extinguished. Ultron got a bit of downgrades as well. But so far, 100 Thieves and Reject looking to find ways to take some sort of edge over their opponent.
It's the Delena hero swipe again. Coming on through from the side of Reject, Delena's been swapping over to that Psylocke, but he's also been playing the Winter Soldier from time to time, so that Terra can play flexibility. So Reject are going to be removing those two duelists, which means that the Atom is still going to be up. Do 100 Thieves try and go for a save? Or are they going to go for the Venom because they had the Jeff, which means that they get symbiotic shenanigans?
A very, very strong tee-up, not only helping the Venom with some stats, but also to the Jeff, providing some extra utility. How does Reject react to this? They will have to take away the Namor Hela synergy, or else they will just get absolutely zoned away if Reject lose that first fight.
Adam gets screwed. Delena doesn't get to play the Hela, doesn't get to play the Winter Soldier, doesn't get to play the Psylocke, but does get to play the Adam. And this could be where we actually get to see Dobby with Reject save on the Jeff. Some of these teams have been more than happy to let the Adam through, especially on a map like Krakoa, because what they've started doing is using the Edge Jeff against the Adam. If you manage to environmentally get the pickoff onto the Adam, even if the self-res is still on cooldown, it does not actually proc. So a lot of these teams will use Edge Jeff to carry the Adam off of the map when he's trying to use his ultimate.
And that's the adjustment coming in. Reject also, like you mentioned, Dobby, one of the most strongest Jeffs we have seen in this entire tournament. Now with the likes of Piggy, they do have that two-man wombo combo with the Heaven's Retribution into the It's Jeff, whereas 100 Thieves, they're looking a
I'm gonna bang my head against
a lot more aggressive this time around.
I mean, they've got the symbiotic shenanigans. They can be as aggressive as they want to, enabling for this first dive. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Reject reacts to it, because Adam also wasn't found on their end either. I think it's going to be aggressive. They could just go for a stack play with the Adam Soulbind, but it looks like we're getting a dive versus dive, although it's not going to be a mirror. Gargoyle is going to be onto the Iron Fist, and Terra is letting the Daredevil out of Hell's Kitchen.
If I remember correctly, this is the first time we have seen Gargoyle play the Fist of Fury. So it's going to be, if he has been preparing this in the sidelines as he's able to find an engagement onto Terra, who has to swing his sticks over to safety as Gargoyle looking to reposition yet again, and the rest of 100 Thieves and Reject have to scrap it out. Keep in mind, this is their moment. They have to go off, or else they are eliminated from this entire tournament.
This Angela is getting to do so much, both peeling the dive, but also enabling it on the end of Reject. So far, neither of these teams have been able to pick up that first point cap as we're trying to pull towards one of those ultimates. 100 Thieves don't have the symbiotic shenanigans anymore, which was the one-sided advantage that they had. And there's going to be first blood going to the side of Thieves, but that's immediately going to be counterplayed by the BOB coming on through to potentially res one of them, as Marvel on the Captain America is able to take Delena down, who was so close to getting the first Galactic Legend, and still, with the mobility that we're seeing from both of these two teams, none of them are giving an inch until now. 100 Thieves managed to clear Marvel off and pick up
and they're able to get a decent man advantage. 100 Thieves take control, and something that we have been talking about on the side of Reject, right? They are really good at focusing down key members that have their ultimates, but as of late, we haven't seen that as much nowadays, as Reject just seem to be a little bit out of sync. It's going to be all up to here if they're able to regroup, recollect themselves, and find a way back in, whereas 100 Thieves look to make the offensive move, look to push on even further.
This is going to be the problem for Reject, though. Playing dive into a retake situation is a lot harder than one when you're in control of the space. So the Starlet with Finale is doing a lot to be able to clear out these angles and work out where 100 Thieves are positioned. Out comes the Galactic Legend, powered up by the E from that AoE, and Harvey has been picked, which means that 100 Thieves don't get the BRB. Out comes its Jav, also at the same time as Melania's, as Delena pumps his own solid ultimate to try to keep a track of Dobby's locations and take him down, as Terra's immediately on top of him too.
Delena able to take to the skies, try to find a pick, but he's not able to do so as Vinny goes down into the depths as the Heaven's Retribution tethers him into place. 100 Thieves, they are climbing, they are getting closer to that round one win, but Reject looking to fight right back, but Marvel does get picked up, but does come back thanks to the BRB. Izayaki and Gargoyle look to team up with their own ultimates, but aren't able to find the key picks, as Harvey just barely able to get the CYA down in time before he even goes down, as Delena and Vinny take full advantage of that 40% damage boost and will just take over this round number one.
The follow-up, the Angela's mobility being able to keep a track of Delena's location too, so that when the solid looks for one, the Angela is there to be able to tip that damage over into an elimination is absolutely massive. We're about to go into overtime. Reject do not currently have a player on that range. They're going to be relying on the mobility instead to tap onto one of those positions and keep the overtime bar in play, but Terra is able to take advantage of an isolated Izayaki. No rocket, one less heal, and also no BRB station
that
to
pick
bring
was
these
crucial.
players back from the edge.
Somehow Reject are still stalling well, but that's where it ends. As soon as I
100
finish
Thieves.
this sentence, 100 Thieves take over round number one, and Reject need to pick up the pieces for this next round.
Yeah, dive is so problematic for teams to play against when it's overtime, because what it really thrives off of, right, is looking for those isolated targets. And that's why a lot of the time when we see counter dive compositions, it's all about stacking up rather than splitting your comp. When we have overtime, however, Reject's hand is forced. They have to have players split so that they're ready to go for that relay baton pass of going and tagging onto the objective, which means that 100 Thieves is like 5 seconds extra for Delena to just disentangle himself from the fight and go find his Izayaki, but the amount of value that you get from being able to pick the rocket and deny the stall potential of a BRB is there in spades.
We got to see what Reject look to go for. 100 Thieves clearly in the driver's seat, up one round in this map number one. Best of 5, keep that in mind. So this is no longer a sprint of a series. We are going to experience a marathon as Reject need to find a way back. Taking a look at the ultimate economy, 100 Thieves have a lot to work with.
Reject think that they've worked out the answer to this. We're going to be seeing Piggy over to the Anna, Gargle onto the Adam, but again, Terror finds these isolated players. No rocket to bring them back, and now it's a 6 versus 5, and 100 Thieves are in the element, just pushing into Reject, playing that rush down. However, the Soulbind buys the opportunity for Reject to flip the script, and they've been able to find one of those trades, but Terror gets brought back. And it's going to be a Galactic Legend instead supplied by Finale to try and cut them off before they go onto the point.
But it looks like Delena is able to find another Galactic Legend, but isn't able to find one until now as Dobby goes down. But Melania sends 2 down into the abyss, but Marvel is able to trade TTK as well, contributing to this fight as 100 Thieves look to take over yet again. That site still not in control, not in their grasp until now as Reject rejected away from the site.
That's going to be rough as well because they did go down to the SGF. However, that does mean that SGF is not there to interfere with Gargoyle's ultimate, who is going to be there as TTK. TTK is just scanning, trying to figure out where exactly Reject are going to rotate from. And that's the thing when you have a flying Vanguard. Look at the amount of information that TTK has.
No idea.
First being cleared. They have to go onto the point. They're trying to pull him down.
I wouldn't focus on Angela, not gonna lie.
Right back to the LOS.
I wouldn't be able to play Angela.
In the meantime, Reject were able to flip the point.
That angle?
All gas, no breaks for 100 Thieves. So many ultimates available on Reject, but with the picks coming in left, right, and center, it makes it difficult
making
for Reject
misplays
to
left
find
and
a way
right.
back into the site. Piggy even having to resort to that Dr. Strange switch and has to join his team with the portal, while Marvel is just stalling and stalling, trying to buy enough time for Piggy to swirl his fingers around and try to manifest a portal into existence, and they're able to do so successfully. But the Heaven's Retribution and the Devil out from Terra are just shredding down Reject as Gargoyle forced to use his own ultimate as Izayaki needs to find a way to keep the team healthy and alive. But Delana takes his guys yet again, and Terra needs to find more picks, but Gargoyle will quickly deny them from it.
Oh my goodness, Gargoyle does get taken down by Terra, but he still has...
Oh my god, Dobie!
Dobie gets two, both the benefits of it, but you have to go off the
Gonna make it.
Otherwise, they're just going to be able to recover as Millennia shows anything you can do. I can do, well, not quite better because Reject had one extra player taken off of the map. The crucial thing here is, though, for Thieves, Millennia didn't go off. They still have one of their strategists to back them up.
I love Jab. Look at Jab.
Reject only down one member, but Finale with the Galactic Legend needs to rocket his way back onto the site. Vinny is threatening them with a feast.
One of the, oh my god.
Good here as Vinny just trying to buy as much time as possible. 100 Thieves
to the right.
Now down a member, but Gargoyle was quickly traded away. Finale is trying to shoot away from the skies as he's able to laser down Harvey. Vinny now caught out in a point position, now getting skewered right onto the site. This is not a time that Vinny wants to dive just yet, and he will Tarzan his way out to safety.
100 Thieves think that this is winnable. Terra's onto the Doctor Strange looking for that portal. Recontest the piece of the abyss comes on from Vinny. Sets up the pick.
TTK.
The Assassin Spear manages to catch both strategists, and it's up to Reject in overtime. They have to give. The flip comes through. 100 Thieves will be able to claim it, and now this is just a matter of resetting quickly so that you don't allow 100 Thieves start shoring up the ultimate economy.
Reject were able to get to 99%. 100 Thieves want to look to do the same. How does 100 Thieves approach this situation? Look at the minimap on the top left. Reject looking to make a rotational play, need to find a different angle in as TTK and Vinny, the two vanguards of 100 Thieves, are just screening away Reject from any form of retake happening as Terra and TTK teaming up to take down Finale, the star player on Reject, and looks like Reject needs to find a way to either stall or back away before they get staggered even further.
The Heaven's Retribution comes on through from Piggy. Reject are trying to just force 100 Thieves into sinking their ultimate economy in this fight.
But they're not.
It is going to come at the cost of the Cosmic Yawn Amplifier, but 100 Thieves are still going to be able to hold on to pretty much everything else for that composition. Gargoyle, though, is so
I think TTK could ult here.
It's going to be a last fight situation, potentially, as Reject keep losing players out of sync with the rest of their team. This is 100 Thieves just continuing to apply pressures that Reject can't disengage.
Gargoyle does have the cocoon, so he will be able to get back into the fray quickly. But Dobie is able to chomp onto Vinny. But can Vinny get away to safety? Can he swing his way back to a fight? It looks like he almost falls into the abyss, but just barely is able to hang on as Terra and the rest of 100 Thieves look to take advantage of a slight misplay as Millennia does swallow up Marvel. And this time, the frag is successful. Harvey comes back, brings Terra back thanks to the BRB, I'm sorry, as Delana takes the skies, as everyone 100 Thieves feasting, taking to the skies. They control the skies, they control the seas as Reject fall to pieces. 100 Thieves looking to come back in round number 2, but Marvel wants to keep the stall going. A desperate portal attempt as Gargoyle also switches over to the Wolverine to try to kidnap any sort of 100 Thieves member back into the site. but 100 Thieves look to hold, look to stall, but Reject are able to float onto the site, but it might be denying the
told you, 100 Thieves.
100 Thieves with a 2-0 in the map will take over Krakoa.
Yeah, those portal plays and also the swaps coming in through from Reject's end was purely treading water. We got to see, like you said, Gargoyle go onto the Wolverine, not just so he can try and find some connections, but also so that he has the passive, that extra level of survivability. Because remember, normally the swap is Adam, but they were actually running Adam within their composition, so there wasn't the Sunpress and there wasn't also the Soulbind being able to come on through. And 100 Thieves, we have to talk about one of the reasons why they did so well into Reject's dive, and it was Terra. This guy coming out with that Daredevil doesn't get all of the assists because he's not actually manually connecting the damage, but what he is doing is supplying the information of Reject's rotations, so that even when you're playing into places like retakes, or you know that Reject are on the walk up and trying to take multiple different angles, Finale was always being found out because the Daredevil literally knows where he's playing from. He could relay that information over to TTK, who just kept sweeping on through with those literal interceptions in the sky.
And that's the information coming in clutch, especially in this professional setting. All of these players being in 6-stack lobbies, and they're just providing information constantly. And with Terra on that Daredevil, being able to spot out key members of Reject, it doesn't give Reject any room to find any opportunities. Like you mentioned, Finale wanted to go for some sort of flying plays, but every single time they got spotted.
I mean, it's not even like you're spotted, it's just you come into range and immediately Daredevil's Raider Sense just starts immediately going whoop, 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 whoop.
I see you.
He does.
He does see you. He sees all.
Everything except Strange Portals.
True, true. Strange Portals definitely do throw a wrench in Daredevil's sights, but right now the question does become, now that 100 Thieves have that map win, now it's Reject's turn to select a map. Now that domination is out of the way, it's either Convoy or Convergence. What are their options and what might be the best for them?
Honestly, a really good strategy, because this is a best of 5 who guaranteed to go to both map types, even if it is a 3-0 sweep, is take us to a Convoy map that isn't Yggdrasil Path to remove it from play. Like, you heard it on the desk, Yggdrasil Path is TTK's playground. For a reason. I think if you're Reject, you want to try and take us somewhere that's a Convoy map without letting 100 Thieves hit their comfort zone.
And that might be the plan here, like you said, TTK's playground on Yggdrasil. He is so good on that map. Despite being a Vanguard, it just seems like he's been the hard carry, especially on that Yggdrasil map. And I think that's a great approach for Reject. Pick a Convoy map that literally just isn't the map that starts with the letter Y. So as long as they do that, they should be golden. They should find a chance back into the series.
Yeah, something else that you can take advantage of on Convoy maps, because those are the maps where we see most of all the Mantis not being instant banned, is the Emma ban. Like, if 100 Thieves decide to go for the Emma ban, then Reject will be able to lay stake to something like the Mantis if they decide to field into it, and then that's going to force 100 Thieves into having sprint bans and things like the Loki, so that you don't get the team up with the Regen Domain, widening its expanse as well as applying damage boost, which stacks, by the way. Loki damage boost with Mantis damage boost both stack, and there is no actual capacity
and
of that damage boost stacking.
Yeah, and there's a reason why Mantis and the Loki have been meta for so long. That damage buff obviously stacking and just providing so much extra ulti charge, and that really does throw the ultimate economy, the ultimate timings way off, and that's something the teams really have to track. We saw that in their interview. Some of these teams are struggling to get that ultimate timings down, and right now it looks like 100 Thieves might be getting it at this point.
Let's have a look at some of these statistics coming on through, weighing up 100 Thieves and Reject. As we can see, Reject did do a fair bit of damage, right? Finale 14.6k, Gargoyle also 10k. It's just that 100 Thieves were always able to heal it through and sustain, and then allow it to channel into their strategist's ultimate charge, as well as always being able to play aggressive. It really did feel like 100 Thieves got everything that they wanted, especially with Terra on that Daredevil, being able to stay on top of Dobby on the jab.
And Reject, right? We talked about it. They like to focus down members that might have their ultimates, but It's starting to waver a little bit. It didn't seem like Reject were in sync at all. I feel so bad saying this every single time, right? Just Reject, they look so good in the early stages of the group stage, but then towards the tail end, they start to falter a little bit. And as someone who's tracked the Asia region, especially Reject throughout the entirety of this year, ever since stage 1, it's a little, I'm a little down in the dumps. I'll admit that, but Reject, it's still hopeful. It's still a best of 5. They've come back from this situation before, and I'm confident that they'll be able to do it again.
I think the Daredevil like really did not help matters, like you said, with that destroyment, because Thieves always really knew what Reject were wanting to do before Reject were even in position to play off of each other, and because they were playing a composition that could go so incredibly quickly, that's exactly what they were doing, right? Every single time they won a fight, they then just continued applying even more pressure and then even more pressure.
Yeah, I would love to keep watching this,
so
but I'm tired. I'm sorry, guys.
Ultimate economy, and also to just
I think I'm just gonna leave this up.
And Dive needs to play in a group.
Mute
It's not just
mic.
one person in a dive. The entire
I do
team
not
makes
want to
it.
mess this.
And we have our
you know what I mean.
answer in terms of what Reject pick for map number 2. It's going to be Araco. So no Yggdrasil in this series for now. But Reject and 100 Thieves now have to navigate this draft. What do you feel about Araco here in the Grand Finals playoffs?
Well, it doesn't have a ban, but it's on Reject's end, which means that Mantis is still going to be removed from their play. It does weaken 100 Thieves in terms of being able to break the triple hold, right? You don't have an Emmet to be able to play on the objective and use the Carbon Crush against things like the Venom on the cap, who are going to be looking to stall things out. And it's also going to be an Adam ban coming through here from the side of Reject as well, before 100 Thieves can start getting things like the Loki and the Adam in their control, so that they can really stall out this defense. This feels to me like Reject are fully targeting 100 Thieves' sustainability on their holds rather than their offenses.
And that's something that Reject have approached, right? I know back in the Asia region, a lot of teams have been banning away Vanguards over some strategists or duelists in these conflict convergence maps, most notably being Doctor Strange showing some presence in the bans.
When I wake up,
but Reject looks to
when I wake up, I'm probably gonna probably stream this and then the rest of the matchups. Let's see if I can probably skip a little bit through. It might be buggy, but I'm not sure because I tried spectating it. I might just see it see if it's up on YouTube, which it might. But yeah, I'm tired. I need sleep. I haven't slept for probably 12 plus hours.